orderly manner, resulting to definite shape. We have also described what the term water of crystallization. So simply, here out of crystallization, it will be a definite amount of water, in which some substances chemically combine, to form crystal from aqueous solution. That's how you can understand the term mode of crystallization. So we can go further ahead on the examples. Of hydrated salts or substances. So the first column I shall put what we call the chemical formula. And next we shall put what we call the chemical symbol. So the first we have what we call copper 2 sulfate, having the 5 water, so written as like that. We have another one called the sodium carbonate, having a 10 water molecule. Sodium carbonate have a 10 water molecule. We have another called the magnesium sulfate, having a 7 water. This can be written as magnesium that. Then we can go another part called determination of water of crystallization. Simply, we are going to try to determine the water of crystallization. And for example, I have a question here. I have a simple question here saying saying that 4.01 gram of magnesium sulfate, which is written as this. So we are interested in finding the value of X. Then they say that it gave gave 2.0 grams of the hydrous salt on heating. Then they are telling us to calculate the value of x. Calculate the value of x, and hence deduce the molecular formula. Deduce the molecular formula of unhydrated salt. Now very simple that. Then they are telling us that 4.10 gram of magnesium sulfate that gave this of the hydrous salt on heating. So calculate the value of x and hence deduce the molecular formula of unhydrated salt. For example, here if we try to calculate the mass, or to get the mass of water or crystallization, you get the first mass 4.1, then minus this, the gram, you get 2.1 is. That means the mass of water of crystallization, this one is containing 2 point this. Then we can acquire the molar mass. We can acquire the molar mass of magnesium sulfate. So magnesium is 24 plus sulfur 32 plus oxygen 16 times 4, giving a total of 120 grams. We go on the molar mass of water. The molar mass of water, that's equivalent to 18 grams. We go on what we call the mass of anhydrous salt. They gave us which was 2.0 grams. After collecting your data like that, they are telling us to hence deduce the molecular formula. That means my interest or my thinking, I will go straight away on how to find the molecular formula. So I go here on the compounds present. We have the magnesium sulfate, and we have also that for water. So I write its composition by mass. So this composition by mass, this is the salt. We have in it as 2.0. Then we have that of water, mass of the water of crystallization as 2.1. Then we find the number of moles. To get the number of moles, we just divide the composition by mass, each element with its relative atomic mass. So you have this, find out this as 120, and that of water 18. So if we get 2.0 divided by 120, we are acquiring 0.016 this. We get 2.1 divided by 18, we are acquiring 0.1167. Then we get the mole ratio. To acquire the mole ratio, we just divide the number of moles with its smallest mole. So here the smallest is this one, so we shall get 0.0 this divided by 0.0 this. 0.1 this divided by this smallest, 0.1 this. So the simplest ratio, this will be 1, and then if you do this, it will give you a 7. That means the value of x is given as 7, and the molecular formula, that will be magnesium sulfate heptahydrate. So in simple terms, when you see that your simplest ratio is giving you in terms of for example, in terms of here, when your simplest ratio is giving you maybe in terms of when you want to acquire a whole number, because a molecular formula is, this is just the formula that gives us the actual number. So, simple terms, you can get such in decimals. Whenever you acquire something like, let me try to rub off here, I did with the glue. You try to acquire when you divide it to get the mole ratio, you are getting such answers like, maybe you have 0.5, maybe 1.5, or 2.5 or 3.5. Simply, we just try to get the least number or the smallest number that we can multiply by this, and we get the whole number. Because here we are not interested in fractions, so we just get a least number that we can multiply, and we get the whole number. For example, this number you can start from 1 up to 4 or even to 5. So simply here you can just multiply by 2. That can give you a whole number. You can even acquire such numbers like numbers which are recurring, or 1.3, something like that. Simply, you can just multiply this by 3. You can even acquire a number something like 2, something like 0.25. For you to acquire a whole number, you can just multiply by 4. Why am I saying by this? Is, for example, if you get your calculator and you press 0.25 times 4, you are going to get a 1. That's why I say by listing number. For a molecular formula, it just gives you a simplest actual number. So we are saying here, if you just multiply this fraction, this decimal, by a listing number, maybe by 4, it gives the result as 1. If you multiply 0.333 times 3, simply also it will just give you 1 if you round off. So another simple term, for example, if you see this value, it was giving you 0.1. If you get 0.167 divided by 0.0167. Actually, we are getting 6.98, but in order you're not interested, so you can round off to the nearest number that gives you a whole number. So if you round off by this, actually we are getting exactly 7, and that's our goal. So that means the value of x that we are interested in is this. So that means the molecular formula of this hydrated salt is given as magnesium sulfate heptahydrate.